Good morning. I'm glad this message found you because it feels like it's quite important. We have the leadership card. You need to take the reins. At this time in your life, this is your sign to take the reins, to take control over what is happening, to make the decision, to change your life, to switch things up. Whatever you've been thinking about, we got an Ace of Swords here, some new ideas coming in. It's time for you to take action on that. It's time for you with the Death card to move away from things from the past and move towards taking a leadership role in your future, or just even in some small situation in your life right now. Take the role of leadership. You're the best person to do it. Because with the Queen of Cups, I also feel like you lead with a good heart. And this is really important. We need more people leading with a good heart. And I think people with good hearts get told that they're not good leaders because they're not ruthless enough, or they don't get enough shit done, or they're too emotional. But you're in a good place. And I feel like, even though it shouldn't be your job to undo the bad shit that people have done before you, you're capable of doing it. So why wouldn't you? So I feel like if there is a promotion coming up or something, if there's an opportunity to be promoted or to move up the ladder or something in your career, then you're in a good position to apply for it potentially and to actually get the job. And then also on top of that, to become the person who is more in favor with the people that you manage than the last manager was, if you see what I mean. There was someone before you in that role who was doing a really shit job, and it's like you get the opportunity to be the person who turns it around and also proves that you can be a leader, a strong leader, but with a gentle and open heart. That is, those two things can coexist together. If this is not really to do with your career, I still want you to take from this that you need to take that leadership role. You need to take the reins, because it feels to me like you've been running away from responsibility. And it's almost like I've got three cards out here. These are like my what do they think about you cards, but I felt like I wanted to pull them today, even though I knew I wouldn't be getting messages from like a specific person. I was like, I wonder if this is going to be your voice talking through these cards, or whether it's going to be the universe's voice talking through these cards to you. And I've got, I can't get close to you if you keep running away. Are you sure this is what you want? And please don't rush me. So I think that you chronically doubt yourself and your ability to get shit done and your ability to lead the charge, either in your own life or like of a team of people, or just with one specific project, or even just to take initiative to text that one person back. um, you keep running away from this responsibility because you're never sure if it's actually what you want. You know, you feel that sort of momentum to move towards something building, but then you step in to doubt it and you go, oh, yeah, but like, what if it goes wrong? Or what if I end up in a position where I don't actually want to be? Or um, what if it feels like it's actually not the right path for me to be in this role? But I feel like if you've got the motivation to do something, then you should go ahead and try it. We also have please don't rush me as well. So you don't want to be rushed into this position of leadership. You don't want to be rushed into taking the reins before you're ready. But sometimes you need to do shit before you're ready. Sometimes you're never going to be ready to do something. That's what they say about parenting, isn't it? Like you're never really ready to become a parent. But at some point you just sort of decide that you might do it. And then you're just kind of thrust into that role of being the parent. I don't know. Maybe some of you are thinking about becoming parents. I don't really do too many of those readings because that's not a world that I'm like familiar with. I got no friends with kids. There are no children. There are no people having kids in my general vicinity, so I don't really know anything about that stuff. But um, I feel like finances have been a barrier for you. I feel like if recently your finances have felt rocky or unpredictable or a little bit random where they're coming from, then you might be mistrustful of an invitation to then take even more of a leadership role in your life, because you're like, but wait, does that lead to actually more steady income, or does that mean I'm spending more of my own money to try and get shit off the ground and potentially risking not getting that back? Um, but it feels like as long as you're making smart financial decisions in your life, then joy, sunshine, and happiness awaits on this journey for you, especially in terms of your finances too. And in your spiritual life, this is also interesting because you're asking yourself, I could become a leader, I could get shit done, I could take the reins, but at what cost? At what cost? What would the cost be to my spirituality? What would the cost be to my ego? What would the cost be? And I think that you're sort of worried about a number of things. You might be worried about like how taking the reins aligns with your idea of what spirituality is to you. Like if you have it in your head that you should be sitting in softness and that you should be, attracting and not chasing or something like that. That's a common thing with spirituality. I don't chase, I attract. Maybe taking leadership and taking the reins feels too much like chasing for you. But I think it's important to distinguish chasing versus being productive and decisively moving towards something. Seeing some guy outside my window having the best time just dancing by himself, and I'm thinking, that could be your vibes. You could be having a great time kind of running your own ship and bossing other people about and telling them where to go, and being more assertive, being more confident. But it's like you choose not to because you sort of worry about how that affects your spirituality somehow. But I think in some way maybe leadership is your spirituality. Maybe it is a destiny of yours. Maybe you are destined to be a more in more of a leadership role in your life than you're currently allowing yourself to be. And that doesn't have to make you tyrannical. It doesn't have to make you into some terrible person who's completely motivated by money and power. I also think from these cards that it would be very hard for you to become that person. I think that it would be practically impossible with your set of values and morals to become that person who is, the super rich billionaire who shares none of their earnings. I don't think that you could ever get to that point because I think that you're too conscious of what is moral and ethical to ever become a billionaire in the first place. If you hit £1 million, probably half of that would immediately end up going to charity because that's just like the person that you are. But final words here for this reading, you're really onto something. It feels like even though you doubt yourself, even though you're asking yourself, but at what cost? Even though you're like, I'm not sure, is it too unpredictable? Do I trust myself here? I think you know what needs to happen. I think you've got the right ideas. And so the universe is saying you're really onto something. They're trying to give you a bit of a push, like, yes, you're onto something. This is confirmation that you're really onto something here. Follow it through, follow your nose and see where all of this leads, because I feel like this is a super important reading that you needed to hear today. You're capable of stepping into that leadership role where you take the reins, where you make the changes necessary, where you become the positive influence and you lead by example. You're capable of all of that. So go ahead and do it. This is your confirmation for today. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there, but I'm wishing you all the best. Maybe rainbows could be relevant. And I will see you on and book a reading with me via the link in my bio. Bye!